Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles, and I welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got another episode, and woo, there's a lot of fireworks, so you guys don't want to miss this one. But make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the video if you haven't already. Anyway, so we all know that this Lakers season has been full of drama ever since, I would say, around week 4 of the NBA season, when this team started to show signs of being a 500 ball club. Around that time, that's when things started to look a little bit shaky, because I think in the preseason, I don't think the Lakers won any games in the preseason. So since that point, the majority of this NBA season has been us here in the media. We've basically spent our entire time trying to understand the arbitrage between what we thought the Lakers would be and what they are. Essentially, I think even though the Lakers, so people had some question marks around Russell Westbrook, don't be fooled by all of that, because some people were still confident in this team, in being one of the best teams to come out of the Western Conference. Nevertheless, some people still thought that. Some people held on to that notion. Some people had the line of thinking of, okay, it's too early to make an assumption on this team, although they had the easiest schedule to start the NBA season. I think the first 20 games, I think 16 or 15 of them were games at home. Some people said, no, it's too early. It's too soon to be making assumptions. That was the first thing. Some people said, I think LeBron got hurt early in the season. They're like, let's wait till LeBron comes back, and then we'll really get a good assessment of this team. There was that. And some people said, are we really going to make an assumption so early? Let's wait. So now we've gotten to the point where we're halfway through the season, more than halfway through the season at this point, and they're currently the number 8th seed in the Western Conference after blowing a game against the Indiana Pacers, who for some reason have been very successful on their recent West Coast road trip, because not only did they beat the league, well, that's to be expected, but they also beat the Golden State Warriors. Now that was a bit of a surprise. So they've been there. So since that point, we've been basically trying to figure out what's wrong with this team, and it has caused a good amount of us to start pointing fingers. Is it Russell Westbrook? Is it the coaching? Right? These are the two kind of things that people have been really focused on. But one person in particular seems to be sick and tired of this Russell Westbrook, Frank Vogel slander. Why Frank Vogel? Because y'all heard that I think Frank Vogel is now pretty much coaching from a game-to-game basis, right? They're looking to make a shakeup, and his job is not secure whatsoever. And some people speculated that he would be gone by now. Skip Bayless said he doesn't even think he's going to make it through the weekend. So Frank Vogel has been on the hot seat, and Russell Westbrook has been, people have been blaming him. But Westbrook, for his career, he's a 4-turnover guy. He's never shot over 40% from the field. If you're going from 0 feet to 3 feet under the basket, he's never shot above 40%. He's shooting 70% from the free throw line. He's shooting 30% from the three-point line. So we all knew that Russell Westbrook wasn't a great shooter to begin with. Nevertheless, all of this talk surrounding this team and all of the blame seen kind of aimed at Russell Westbrook and Frank Vogel has really pissed off Charles Barkley yesterday. And I'm always waiting for a Charles Barkley soundbite, because it is going to be full of fireworks. So yesterday on their show Inside the NBA, he just went off on not just the Lakers, but the media as a whole. So before we go too far, we want to play some of his comments, some of these fireworks, and then we're going to come back and give you guys our thoughts. So take a listen to some of the things that Charles Barkley had to say about the Lakers. So take a listen to that here.
Well, all they got to do is just blame Frank Vogel or Russell Westbrook for that game.
Speaking of Russell getting benched last night in the fourth quarter of that loss, they blow a 15-point lead to the Indiana Pacers and lose at home.
I normally don't root against teams, because I think that's not I don't give a rat's ass who win these games.
Of what?
Okay. A rat's ass. Okay. Which,
how big is that?
But
have you not heard that phrase before?
Well, normally, right? Oh, can I make my point?
It's small.
Go ahead.
I'd love to pursue that further.
I just want to say, so I never root. I don't care who wins. I just want the season to be over so we can go play golf and fish.
All right, let's.
But I root. The Lakers are such wussies, and I only say wussies because I can't say the word I want to say.
I know.
The way they have tried to throw Russell Westbrook and Frank Vogel under the bus is just really pissing me off. And I got to tell you something.
Oh no! Hey, we've got a guest standing by.
Well, the Lakers still suck when we get back from this interview. Now listen, I'm not going to sit out like all these clowns on other networks got their head up the Lakers' booties. Now they're blaming Frank Vogel and Russell Westbrook. Listen, the people up top who put that trash together are running and hiding like cowards, saying, oh, it's Frank, it's Russ. You put all them old geezers out there. Listen, The best guy, other than LeBron, in the last month has been who? Stanley Johnson.
Yeah.
And for y'all to be bringing a guy who was on the street and he becomes your second best player, and the general, whoever running that trash out there, getting away, it's ridiculous, man. I'm watching all these clowns on TV today telling me Russell didn't play the last 4 minutes. Well, those guys had 4 minutes to win the game. Them bombs he had out there, if Russ didn't play the last 4 minutes, okay, I'm trying to win. Well, you didn't win. So it wasn't Russ' fault. You had 4 minutes in a game. You had a chance to win. So don't try. I'm not letting this go on Frank. I like Frank. People know that. I like Russ. I'm never going to get at him mad. Russ is not playing great, 100%. But for everybody to get on TV and be like kissing up to these boys in L.A., I'm like, yo, man, who put all these old-ass geezers together?
Weigh in here.
They would have been a hell of a team in 2010.
Now, here are my thoughts on what he had to say. Yes, Charles Barkley is correct, because essentially what he's saying is, listen, y'all are talking about, Russell Westbrook and all that, but you guys are not getting to the root of the issue. And the root of the issue are the people who put this team together in the first place. And guess what? Is he right? Absolutely. Yes, Charles Barkley is 100% right about the fact that we need to start paying attention to the people that put this team together. And those people are Rob Pelinka and LeBron James. Are Rob Pelinka and LeBron James the ones that should be held responsible for putting this team together? Yes, they should be, 100%. However, here's the issue. The issue is this. Those are decisions that were made 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago, right? That is basically milk that's already been spilt. Right? These decisions have already taken effect. So for us to spend time really trying to point fingers at LeBron James or Rob Pelinka, if we're going to do that, then it means that, okay, if we're going to identify these guys as the culprit for this disaster that the Lakers are experiencing, then what's the next thing? Is there going to be a way for us to discipline them? Are they going to fire Rob Pelinka? Are they going to trade LeBron James? Because if they're not going to address those people, then yeah, we can say they're the ones that are responsible, but what is all of that talking really going to do? Is it going to change life on the court? I don't think so. I don't think identifying those guys, is going to solve the problem the problems that the Lakers are experiencing. Listen, I think at this point, this thing has turned into a train wreck, a flat out train wreck. We're now hearing that Russell Westbrook stormed out of the locker room after the game when he got benched in the fourth quarter, because I think that was something he was totally against. He said, I'm sure I believe it was Skip Bayless or Chris Broussard. Someone said, I heard it yesterday, that they wouldn't be surprised if Russell Westbrook's agent was on the phone with some of the Laker higher up saying that this is unacceptable, that their client is being benched in the fourth quarter. I also heard some information by Rick Bucher speaking to Doug Gottlieb yesterday on Fox Sports Radio. And Rick Bucher gave me some insight. Essentially what Rick Bucher said, which I thought was very, very insightful, he said, listen, in a situation like this, when we're talking about team concepts and management and all, he said you seldom see coaches putting lineups out there that management has not signed off on. And given the fact, and that makes sense, because given the fact that we heard the news that Frank Vogel was given the green light to make any decision he sees fit in order to win games, i.e. benching Russell Westbrook in the fourth quarter. And when he was asked about it, he said, I did it because I thought that was the best option to help us win the game. So he did that. Now, in my personal opinion, I think the entire Russell Westbrook situation is run amok. I don't know who Russell Westbrook actually thinks he is. If you're asking me, I think Russell Westbrook is, like Skip Bayless said, one of probably the most delusional NBA player we have in the NBA going right now. I don't know who Russell Westbrook thinks he is. Just last year, the Clippers were in a game where they were stinking up the joint. Stinking it up totally. I think against the Atlanta Hawks or one of these teams. What happened? Do you know what Ty Lue did? I think halfway through the third quarter, do you know what he did? He took out his entire starting five, including Paul George and including Kawhi Leonard, who is more accomplished than Russell Westbrook, and he sat them on the bench. He brought in his second unit. His second unit, led by Luke Kennard and these guys, actually started to bring them back into the game. And then later in the game, he brought in Kawhi Leonard and the starters and helped them close out the game. The point I'm trying to make is that Ty Lue had total autonomy over the Clippers, and he was able to make a decision. So it means to me that the Lakers have either some serious control issues, probably one of the reasons why they weren't able to get Ty Lue in the first place, because they wanted to pick his coaching staff. But they got something going on there because Ty Lue did it, and I didn't hear a mumbling word from Kawhi Leonard nor Paul George. So for Russell Westbrook to be feeling some type of way, again, Russell Westbrook, what have you won? What has he won? Oh, I'm sorry. He has won at life. That's right. That's right. He went to the NBA to win at life. So he won at life. So I guess essentially he's won, right? Sports is not about winning the games anymore. It's about using it as a vehicle to make money, and I've won in life. Do you win? It doesn't really matter. So essentially, what LeBron, what Jordan, what all of these guys are doing, all of these guys trying to compete and win at a high level, what they're doing means absolutely nothing. You know why? Because they already made their money. What type of low expectation person would be actually thinking that that's a way to be in the universe? That's all you thought for yourself? That, oh, okay, I made the money, so I've made it all. No impact, no legacy whatsoever. Your only thing is, oh, I've made my money, so I've made it all. Really? That's the level that we're operating at? So to me, I think the whole thing is a mess. Absolutely, this thing is going to leave a sting on LeBron James' legacy, number one, because LeBron James talks a lot of trash. He talks a lot of trash. He goes on Twitter. He starts talking about Wash King and, you know, the storm is coming and y'all are going to pay for saying that we're old and keep it up and all of this stuff. So if you're going to be up there talking all that trash, then when things go awry, you got to deal with what comes after it. And that is 100% the reality, because if they were winning, then I don't think any of us would be here. Everybody would be heaping praise on him. And one guy, one bozo talking about, because I didn't put LeBron James on the fan poll on our channel, we're running a poll for who we think the top MVP candidates are. And by the way, these polls only have 5 spots. We had Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid. I can't remember some of the other players that we had. DeMar DeRozan, Kevin Durant, and some other. I don't remember the other person we had on. They go, you didn't put LeBron James, disrespectful. It's so disrespectful. Meanwhile, your man is in the HC. Cut it out. Stop twerking. It's enough. Stop twerking. Sit down. Stop twerking. It's enough. Catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.